Hello, I'm Scotty Crowe, and welcome to Make Running Presents. I am fired up because on this episode, we're going to learn a little more about the teams participating in TSP 6.0. Now, here are just some of the facts for the teams. We have 50 teams this year, 50 teams out of more than 100 registration applications. Here's some of the stats on the 50 teams that we have coming for the Speed Project 6.0. Got my trusty sheet here because I don't want to mess any of these numbers up. Hashtag mathematics major. Okay, first of all, 25 teams, half of the field, are OG teams. And this OG setup is 6 runners, 4 men, 2 women, which was the original LA Speed Project team makeup. We have 3 all-women's teams. We're going to learn a little bit more about a couple of those later. We have 27 returning teams or captains, so people who have gone through this experience, not finished, have to come back for more. Of the 50 teams, 25 teams are international. So we talked earlier about how this is an increasingly global event. 25 teams from other countries outside the U.S. And then within the U.S., we have 14 cities represented, many with other runners from other countries. And so I know one of the New York teams in particular has runners from 5 different countries. So as you can see, people from all over the world, all kinds of different backgrounds, all kinds of different ways that they came into running, all coming to run the Speed Project. In addition to those relay teams, don't forget, we have a team of 5 from Calgary, Alberta. We have a team of 2 people splitting the whole thing up. And then again, we have 8 solo mission runners. 8 runners who are going to run this entire thing by themselves. 3 women and 5 men on the solo mission. Don't forget, as these teams make their way through the desert, we will be live on the hour, every hour. The best 5 minutes of your day, every hour, on the Speed Project Instagram, going live. Now, to get a better sense of why some of these teams are participating, everybody had to fill out a pre-registration form. And I took a look at some of those responses just to learn about some of the teams when I was prepping this episode, and I thought I would share some of their responses with you. So if we can get those up on the board. First question that we asked was, what is your motivation to participate? The Pacifics said, we want to share this experience with new people in the most outstanding scenery. And I think that's a very, very common response that folks had. Girls Run NYC says, our Women's Run Collective wants to challenge themselves and raise awareness for women in sports. Very important. And then Craft Runners out of Germany, some of our friends who are coming back, their primary motivation to participate, one word only, running. And lastly, our guest today is from the Koreatown Run Club here in LA. Their motivation for participating, quote, eat sand, unquote. The other thing is we asked teams to tell us a little bit more about themselves, and here's a little more insight into some of these teams. Hella Bay from San Francisco says, I really want to encourage women of all running levels to try to challenge themselves to do amazing things. Well said. Team Grit out of DC, which was formerly District Tri, says diversifying the field of athletes at the competitive level for minority high schoolers and adults. Very, very important mission. NYF1 out of London says, we're a team of injured veterans and kick-ass fundraisers who want to raise money for orphans in Nepal. Wonderful cause. And this is a very common response. We took the one from Power Miler Track Club from New Orleans, but we come from all walks of life, united by our affinity for pain, camaraderie, and beer. A lot of folks seem to brag about the only record that they were going to be setting in Vegas was the amount of beer consumed. Maybe we should try to track that and figure out who can actually set the record. Nuremberg Track Club was back with another wonderful response to this question. We're currently a totally mixed bag ranging from punks to jock straps. Don't quite know what that means, but I'm excited to find out. And MIP out of Las Vegas just gave the shrugging emoji as their response. So I like that as an identity as much as anything else. So that's a little bit about those teams, and we're going to be lucky enough to be joined by one of our team captains from the Koreatown Run Club in a few moments. But first, it's really important to know how we can take care of ourselves in the desert. We would be remiss to not check in with Vasha in this episode to see what kind of tips our Get Right expert has. Vasha?
Have your phone. Have a place to put your phone. It's really good to have pockets on your shorts if you're thinking about what you're packing and what you're bringing. If you're bringing a little waist belt, just do it. It's really smart to have a phone somewhere on your body. You may get lost. You may not have like the road map drawn on your hand or your arm, or maybe it was sweaty, you wiped it off. Just keep your phone. There is a little bit of signal out there, and I'll be honest, I was left stranded in the desert one time, and if I did not have my phone, I probably would have still been in the salt flats today. So keep your phone on you. And that's it. Keep a smile on your face. Know that it's almost over, and that's about it. Smiles and phones. Back to you, Scotty.
Thanks, Vasha. But you also may want to get some things in advance. What we did was put together an official TSP 6.0 gear review for you. Hello, welcome to the official TSP 6.0 gear review. Here we're going to talk about some things that you might want to take on your trip from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. Let's start down here. First, I want to draw your attention to a previous Speed Project's gift box. Every team has received one of these boxes. Inside, many things to stay clean, stay hydrated, stay safe. We can't confirm that any of these things will be given to you this year, except for the stencil. You're gonna get a stencil and some spray paint. Now, we would never endorse vandalization of anything, but please use your stencil as much as possible. Moving on, we've heard a lot about the importance of recovery. So we heard about things you can do to work the lactic acid out of your body. This is a Theragun. Use it with care. And also, just for nutrition recovery, we have some Morton here. Make sure you get your Make sure you get your electrolytes in. Get some good sugar intake. And we have a great announcement to make. Exclusive breaking news. Here, drum roll please. Every team will receive access to one Theragun and a full stock of Morton nutrition drink and gels. Air horns. So enjoy that. Now, one other type of nutrition, really important, sugar intake. Our doctor in episode 3 also talked about the importance of real food. And a lot of that real food sometimes needs to be frozen. It may not be a freezer in your RV, it may be full. So what we really recommend here is getting some space ice cream. Really underrated element out on the road. You can see this is an ice cream sandwich. Just gonna show you how delicious it is. Oh, so good. You're gonna want this. Really gonna want that. All right. We've also talked a lot about animals on the course. Now, we've also talked a lot about animals on the course. Now, this is really important to stay safe. So, really recommend having some pepper spray out there. But what you really want to have is some bear spray. Now you can see the difference in size here based on the importance of the mammal that you may be interacting with. Now I found some notes about bear spray that are really important. So you may want to take some notes here. I'll give you a minute to get a pen. Great. So if it's a surprise encounter with a bear, you're going to want to slowly back away. If the bear charges, stand your ground, use the spray. If the bear attacks, play dead. If the bear stalks you, then attacks, fight back. So you need to, in those 3.2 seconds, analyze what the bear is doing and then use the spray, fight back, play dead, or attack. Also, real story, there's a lot of snakes out there, tarantulas, scorpions, bees. May need some venom extractor, just in case that happens. If you don't have this, you might be putting your lips on somebody's dirty body. And now more than ever, we need to make sure that we're clean and giving each other space. So probably want to get some venom extractor. The other thing is, in Adelanto, near the airplane graveyard, talked a lot about these dogs out there. Now you could get a dog whistle, but it may be difficult to whistle while you're in a full sprint. If you can whistle, maybe you should be running faster. So foolproof is carry a dog bone. Take this, throw it out. 100% effective at distracting all rabid, angry dogs that may be trying to bite you on the way. So get a couple of these. Moving on to other course elements of safety. A lot of people have talked about getting stranded, getting lost, getting left. I really recommend an emergency sleeping bag. Maybe you're on your leg and the RV never comes and you're stuck out there for hours, days, weeks. This is gonna be really helpful. Really easy to use. Just folds right out, really lightweight as you can see. We'll show you exactly how this works in a minute. But the other thing is, you're gonna be running some night legs. You're gonna run all through the night. Now, a headlamp is important, of course. Having a beacon or a blinker is important too. But what you really want is a multicolored disco lamp. And we'll just show you, we'll use a sleeping bag to just maybe show you the impact of this. Yeah, you want me right in here? See, you know what I mean? You can only imagine how important this would be out in the desert for you to have attached to you as you run through. And we're warm and we're safe under the emergency sleeping bag. Last but certainly not least, Speed Project is a global movement. We want to make sure that you're decked out, taken care of, as you're making your way not only through the desert, but also through life after that. We've got a beautiful assortment of Speed Project merch. Everything from zip-up hoodies to pullover hoodies. We've got different types of t-shirts, latitude coordinates, some branding, some printing and reflective print. So we got the all black Speed Project branding with nice elements of what it is to run through. Some real authentic Las Vegas shirts, repurposed, redone, not only sustainable, but exciting, unique one-offs. Here's that hat, great look. This is the most important item that we have from my personal collection, Speed Project bandana. Can't overstate right now how important it is to be careful of what you're breathing in. So bandana's always been good for desert dust, staying warm. Now more than ever, it's really important. But there's been a real run on these and face masks across the country and the world. So these are not available actually. So maybe BYOB, bring your own bandana. That's been your gear review for TSP 6.0. Thanks so much for joining us. We encourage you to get some of these things, and we hope this is very helpful.
While we're at it, why don't we see what Coach Blue has to offer today?
If I could give you one tip that's from a coach to an athlete, would be to control the run, not let the run control you. You heard it before, nothing special there. But it's all about rhythm. Everything's about rhythm. The tip I'm giving you is rhythm. Be in rhythm with your teammates, with your crew, with your footsteps, and with your breath. Control the parts you can control. Hit your cadence and stay with that rhythm. But be able to bend and blend with the rhythms happening around you. That is nature. That is what we really are. And your best experience as an athlete in the Speed Project and beyond is really your ability to be in sync and in rhythm with everything around you.
Thanks, Blue. As I mentioned, we have the honor and privilege of being joined by one of the team captains of not one, but two, I don't know how that's going to work, he's going to tell us, teams for TSP 6.0. He's a local legend, a man of many talents. Please give it up for the one and only Dewey Wynn. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
How are you?
Feel free to have a seat. Make yourself at home.
Oh man, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks so much for being here and coming in with such low blood sugar. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know.
You got to keep it on the edge.
Yeah.
Always.
You never know when you just might collapse.
That's right. So you were part of a team, Karachi Research Center, last year, correct?
Yeah.
Great. And what about that experience made you want to come back? And then can you tell us a little bit about this dual team situation that you have this year?
Yeah. So, you know, I feel like TSP is one of those things where, like, I hate to say it, but if you know kind of things. And especially being in LA, you know. Mm-hmm. And we just had to do it. We had to be involved. I started running late in the game. I heard about it maybe TSP 3.0, and you know, we're always down for the crazy, for the little weird, for the running. To me isn't the most fun. So when you're able to throw in a little dirt, a little limo, a little who knows, you know, we want to be there. So.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So what's the strategy or the thinking behind having two teams? And are they competing against each other? Are they teaming up on the course? Or?
You know, initially we wanted two teams to compete against each other. I feel like, you know, TSP is something you do for the experience. And like for me, running a marathon, I'm probably never going to get first, but I'll compete against myself or I'll compete against my friends. So the idea of having two teams competing against one another was really fun. But then as I was kind of assembling the teams, I noticed like we had a couple really fast people. And so I didn't want to kind of, like I wanted to let them do as best as they could. So I took the fastest people we had and put them on one team. So that's an eight-man team. And then we have another team, a 10-person team, that's kind of a little more mixed. But I would say they're still competing against each other, because looking back now, that other team is pretty fast and they have the advantage of more rest. So I'm interested to see how they pit against one another.
I like that, and it'll be exciting. I think a big thing that seems to come out of the speed project is that even teams who are competing against each other, whether they know each other or not,
Yeah.
I think it really seems to connect them. Like a couple years ago when we had all those foot races into the finish, those teams seem to be bonded
Definitely.
like for the rest of their lives in some cool ways.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that LA specifically is a city that if you know, you know, and it seems that you and KRC, y'all seem to do that in a number of different ways. And can you tell us a little bit about, other than running, what kinds of things do you and Mike,
Yeah.
what are you launching, what are you working on, what else is happening with KRC outside of the running itself?
Yeah, so, obviously with the running, it takes up a lot of time. And then for some reason, we decided to do total 180 and work in food. And so it wasn't necessarily because of this, but, a lot of times we do events and we have a lot of vendors and stuff. And, wouldn't it be cool if we could just do it ourselves? So, I come from a creative side. I do a lot of videos and photos. But then there's one aspect that we really enjoyed and we kind of dabbled in before, but we never really took it seriously, and that was food. So about a little over a year ago, we started Love Our Burger with another friend of ours who is involved with KRC. We meet at his bar, which was his bar, and he hit us up to work on this burger concept, and we ran with it, and now we're feeding the runners of LA and of KRC, so yeah.
So I love all that story. My question for you is, how is Love Our Burger and these other aspects that you're talking about other than running going to make its presence known at TSP?
There's a couple, running last year, there are a lot of spots where you just really want a burger.
That's the truth.
And we got a propane tank, no electricity, gas grill. So we might pop up at one of the segments, maybe, who knows?
I mean, I think, well, I don't want to be prescriptive, but I think that would be a dream.
Yeah.
And there are so many spots out there. We had a doctor on earlier who said the best way to recover is to actually eat like real food, like a real meal. And so not only is it a good time, it's exciting, but you're also providing a service to these other teams.
Exactly.
It's almost as if people would be like, I'm not concerned about some other record. I just want to be with the KRC team so I can grab that burger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be the beer miles happen. Maybe there'll be a burger mile.
Burger Mile, great.
Who knows?
You heard it here first. The debut of the Burger Mile, sponsored by Love Our Burger.
Exactly.
Awesome. Last question.
Yep.
Above all else, what are you hoping to get out of this experience?
For me last year, at first we thought it was just like a fun thing to do. LA to Santa Monica, Vegas, and it was fun, but what I didn't expect was how I really bonded with the team. And I'm really excited to see these two teams kind of bond with each other, That's one thing you always hear about. It's you're crammed in this RV, you're doing a crazy thing, you're exerting yourself so much, and it'll make or break relationships, but I feel like what you get out of it, it's funny I say this because I don't really remember anything of TSP. It's all a blur, but I know it was amazing, and I know the people we were with are amazing, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for them to experience that.
Yeah, I like that. So much you kind of remember, so much you've sort of forgotten, and then so much unknown of what can happen this year.
Exactly. I remember Poopgate. I remember
Who doesn't?
trying to beat this one team at the very end, and we were just doing 100-meter sprints, and then realizing that we were 4 people in a little car, and they had their whole RV, and we're just swapping people out nonstop, and I was just gutted. I was like, that's a new person with fresh legs.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited.
That's great. Well, thanks for coming on. So
Absolutely.
excited to see how both teams do and what kind of tricks y'all pull out on the course. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Make Running Presents. But before we go, I almost forgot, you can enter today's raffle, which is a featured interview with myself, Nils, Vasha, and other hosts along the way, maybe in the TSP limo. If you're interested in this, leave a comment saying what maybe you would like to discuss in the interview on Live on the Hour every hour, or maybe some sort of segment or feature that we should have on the hour every hour. The best 5 minutes of your day every hour. Leave a note in the comments, we'll pick a winner, and we will find you in the limo with snacks for a wonderful interview. That draws us to a close here on this episode of Make Running Presents. My thanks again to Dewey Wynn for joining us. Thank you, Nils Arend, for joining us as well. And we will be back soon in a couple days with more updates from Make Running Presents. So thank you so much. Be safe out there. No cats.